I don't know how many guys have played with a torn ACL and done it successfully.
I remember looking at Kurtis and I was like, this dude, he ready for battle. He about to shock the world.
It's Indiana Pro Day, the last chance for Hoosier players to make an impression ahead of the NFL Draft. Players run their routes, and scouts jot down times. Postseason knee surgery has Canadian quarterback Kurtis Rourke relegated to the sidelines.
It definitely sucks to not be able to do a lot of these things you dreamed of.
And all he can do is watch and wait. And waiting is something with which he's very familiar.
Good. Okay, Kurtis interview. Take one. Good job. I think we're good. All right.
Waiting is part of the process.
Yeah. All good?
Absorb as much information as you can.
I can sit right here. Whatever. Yeah.
Look at all the great quarterbacks. Tom Brady, obviously, he was at the bottom of the depth chart. Aaron Rodgers being, sitting behind Brett Favre. All those different stories. Having patience is key.
We're good. We're good. Start at the beginning, Kurtis.
My brother, growing up, was a starter, so I definitely watched him a lot.
It's little brother syndrome. He really looks up to Nathan.
Everyone's known of the name because of my brother.
Nathan Rourke, one of the most dynamic players in the entire country.
You know how important football is to Nathan Rourke.
He was the other Rourke, an afterthought in a lot of ways, unfortunately.
Kurtis always had a burning desire to prove himself.
So I wanted to start my own journey.
He wasn't going to let much stop him.
Many reports coming out.
He has been surgical.
When he's on fire, he can't be stopped.
Kurtis Rourke played with a torn ACL.
He didn't know. Nobody knew.
I got to get through it. I got to do it. This is my time.
With the NFL Combine and Pro Day behind him, Oakville, Ontario's Kurtis Rourke is counting down the days to the NFL Draft.
You feel pretty confident about
The meeting with the teams and stuff?
Yeah, I loved it. They call it like speed dating, when you meet with every team every 15 minutes and kind of talking about your journey, and it's fun to kind of reflect on that. Where I got my love for football started with my brother.
A lot of my early memories are of us playing together at home.
Hi, this is Kurtis, and Nathan's taking the ropes off. Woo!
We would compete constantly, consider him one of my best friends.
Nathan wanting to start football, and being the younger brother, I just wanted to do what he was doing, and I started playing quarterback and have been playing ever since.
Nathan was playing for us, and I met Kurtis when he was 12 years old, and he was in the stands and really excited to watch the football game, the high school football game. Hadn't grown yet, it was just a little guy still.
We're lucky enough now to have with us potential record-breaking QB in Nathan Rourke and a player to watch at the JV level.
He had aspirations to play in the NFL. Even though he was one of the top guys in Canada that year, he still didn't have any looks. And so he kind of pivoted to kind of find what the next direction for him was.
That direction led the Rourkes south to Elmer, Alabama, and an opportunity to play football at Edgewood Academy.
My mom and I went down with him, and my dad stayed back home working, and I understood that it would be a sacrifice, but it was all for Nathan. I was kind of just the outsider and third string that year. I didn't really fit in.
He was in full supportive mode. It wasn't his dream at that point. Really the second guy, the other Rourke, I don't think he had the best experience because of that.
After 9 months away, Kurtis and his mother returned to Canada. While Nathan would get an opportunity at Ohio University, Kurtis's own journey resumed back home.
It was just nice to be back in a familiar place, and I left quite short and small and came back a little bit taller, so I'm sure my coach was very happy about that.
I saw a young man that was so happy to be playing. Once he was separated from his brother, and his brother was in college doing his thing, and then Kurtis was here in high school doing his thing, he had to kind of make his own way.
Over that time when he was by himself, he really was able to say, hey, there's no one really pushing me anymore. I've got to push myself.
He always had a good arm. He could really throw that ball. Pretty advanced quarterback for a young kid. He doesn't get rattled. You can go through your whole entire coaching career and never coach anyone close to that, and we were lucky enough to have two of them come through our doors, so it was a blessing.
In 2018, Kurtis went on to become the #1 high school prospect in Canada. But just as with his brother, NCAA schools showed little interest.
All I needed was one. I owe everything to Ohio for giving me a chance. But they offered me pretty late. I still had to prove myself.
But he would have to wait.
It has been all too easy for the senior quarterback Nathan Rourke tonight.
In his senior year, Nathan was the guy.
Rourke to the end zone. It's caught for an Ohio touchdown.
He was okay to watch. He was hungry to learn.
Even after Nathan left Ohio, it would be 2 more years before Kurtis truly got his shot.
He's heard all of the chatter that you're only here because of your brother.
And in 2022, his patience paid off.
He's out to prove what he can mean to Ohio football.
Everything kind of came together.
He's been dynamite for Ohio.
Kurtis Rourke quickly became the best quarterback in the Mid-American Conference.
One of the best ball throwers in the country this season.
Throwing 25 touchdown passes against just 4 interceptions.
Kurtis Rourke threaded the needle.
Probably surprised a lot of people, but it didn't surprise any of us, like any of the receivers. We knew he was a special player.
Finally, the offense was kind of geared towards his strengths. He played like someone who'd been waiting for his chance for a really long time.
We're 3 games away from MAC championship. I remember pain.
He got hit, got blasted, and that doesn't look good.
It was honestly just heartbreaking.
Coming back from an injury like that is easier said than done.
Although he was able to start the following year, Kurtis failed to live up to his 2022 season. However, he still wound up as one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in Ohio history, breaking some of his older brother's school records. But would it be enough to open doors to the NFL?
Talking to my parents, talking to Nathan helped make the decision as what's the best option for me. Maybe it's best for me to prove that I could play against the best.
He found that competition by landing at Indiana University, a Big Ten school in a conference with some of the best teams in college football.
I came out, looked at the stadium, and I was like, this is big. And fitting as being the Big Ten.
But a team with only 3 winning seasons in the 2000s.
People in Indiana have no hope for Indiana football.
I gotta trust that I'm here for a reason. I'm gonna work as hard as I can.
So I remember that spring ball season, he put in so much work. We didn't see much of each other at that time, which was a little weird just because he had so much to learn and so fast.
Coming from the MAC, a lot of people didn't know who I was. I wanted to earn that respect.
When you prepare the right way, there should be no self-imposed limitations.
And then I was just cutting as normal. Knee kind of gave out a little bit. There was definitely something going on.
I remember getting a text during the practice.
Tweaked the knee a little bit today, getting an MRI later.
It ended up being partially torn.
The injury was to the same knee he tore at the end of the 2022 season, raising the possibility that he might have to wait again.
But the doc here and everything felt like it was good enough and it was fine. I didn't want to miss time. I've missed enough time.
How would you describe how ready Kurtis was for his opportunity when the season began last year?
I remember looking at Kurtis and I was like, this dude, he ready for battle. He about to shock the world.
Rourke, touchdown! And it's caught, touchdown, Rourke on the money.
Rourke led the Hoosiers to Indiana's best season in more than half a century.
See him live up to the trust that the program had put into him.
There isn't much that hasn't gone right in Kurtis Rourke's Indiana career.
We were so proud.
Indiana, move it.
You are 10-0 for the first time in program history, Coach.
Not bad. Got a man there, got it.
You're 11-1.
It ended up being such a fun season.
It's a historic year for Indiana.
It brought a lot of joy to everyone's life.
But what made it all the more incredible
Well, tell me guys from the MAC can't come into the Big Ten and deliver.
Was what was revealed after the season.
He didn't know. Nobody knew.
No one really knows when it really officially happens.
I think like everyone, we were pretty surprised.
To do that on the torn ACL, man, that's just a miracle, man.
By the time he was done at Indiana, Kurtis was no longer the other Rourke. And now his name could yet again be a part of history.
The only Canadian born and raised quarterback who's ever been drafted was Jesse Palmer. Right. You have a chance to be the second. I mean, what goes through your mind when you think of the idea of draft day and that all kind of coming to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor. It's been a dream of mine for a while to play at the highest level and play in the NFL, and it's finally a possibility.
Always got the football with you.
It's a necessity these days.
We've just been trusting that he's going to end up exactly where he needs to be, and it'll just be one of those moments where it all comes together.
Hey, there he is. He's earned everything that's come his way. No matter what happens, I'm proud of him and what he's done.
We'll see on draft night.
I guess you can't go out and play basketball.
I mean, I'll be ready in 6 weeks.
Dude.
I know that Kurtis is going to be successful at anything he does.